mai, haere mai, tuku no mai, wainga nui a mātou nei whānau hakarongo. Manaki tia mātou nei pō, mātou nei kōrero tia, I tēnei wā, tūturu whakamaua kia tina.
Tina.
Hau me hui e.
Tai ki. So, hello. We are calling from Knoxville, Tennessee. We are visiting Sara, who's over here, and we just finished our Haka seminar on the farm, River Plains Farm, where Sara lives. Timon was supposed to do this interview with us. He's in Australia at the moment, visiting his brother together with his mother. So this is the beginning of our podcast, and we are just doing our best to present you with some answers to some questions that we found.
This was the planting of the seed of Pou Uira Haka again in Knoxville, Tennessee. So this is all new. This is the first time we'll be doing this.
Don't think so. I think we had a Pou Uira seminar a few years ago.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I mean, first time we're doing
you're talking about the podcast.
What we just had is a haka for planting the seed.
Yes, that's what we
did.
made a misunderstanding.
The seed t-shirt.
I love that t-shirt.
Yes.
Pura io. And yeah, we've been coming here since 2010.
Is that right, Sara?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right.
I still can't believe it.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. And wow.
Would you like to introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure. Hey, kia ora. I'm Sara, and I met these guys in 2010. Actually, it was Ojasvin's cousin, Atarangi.
Yeah, that's
Ata,
true.
who kept saying, Sara, you'd love my cousin. And his beautiful wife, Iris, at the time. Yeah. And I'd go, oh yeah. And then she'd put up the computer screen. She did this and would start playing a recording of the haka.
Hey.
And I'd walk in the room to come look, and then she'd shut it down really fast and say, yep, you'd really love this haka and what they're doing. And so it was really, of course, piqued my curiosity. And, Ata, she likes to.
Yeah.
And then I reached out to you, and
did you contact us?
Yeah, I contacted you.
Wow.
Yeah, and you responded.
I can't remember.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So, and I couldn't believe it that, because I was crossing my fingers, like, I wonder if they'd really come. Because I felt really called to it.
Oh, that's so
When
beautiful.
I would hear, I could hear, and I'd run in, and then Ata would put the screen down. But it was there was just something about it that was just so, it drew me in. It was very compelling, and I was nervous to actually reach out, and I just did it. I remember doing a little prayer over it. What is meant to be will be, and then I heard back from you. I'm pretty sure it was you.
My man is the organization.
Might have been my secretary at that time. No, we were so excited when we got your invitation back then.
Well, I'm sure it was something to be invited to Knoxville, Tennessee.
Of course, I didn't even know where it was.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. And but for you all to agree to come was such a big deal. I felt like I'd won the lottery. Really, I was like,
Well, we were a bit crazy back then. We're still a bit crazy, but we're very happy we've been coming back and coming back and coming back. But we used to do the haka seminars in your Healing Arts Centre.
Yeah.
That's right in town.
Yeah, in Knoxville, in the city, the big city. Inside walls.
Yeah, I remember it was in that yellow room with the big mirrors.
Yes.
And it was super small.
Yes.
And so hot.
Yes.
Yeah.
You came in May, I think, the first time, wasn't
Ooh,
it?
that was like hot.
Uh-huh.
And we could only run the air conditioning, you know, for a while because it was too loud.
Yeah.
But you really, really needed that to cool down.
Uh-huh. And I kept thinking, oh my gosh, I hope these guys want to come back, because after it was like...
But people would come and sweat with us.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Really hot. And
I was so pleased to realize that Wolf and Butterfly, both of them, they came the very first time and they're still with us.
Yes. Every year.
Every year.
Every year.
Yeah, and they keep on saying that one year we didn't come. And I think it was 2012 we didn't come.
Yeah, I think it was. But, you know, that's still a good long time for... And you kept coming. Thank you for that, you know.
I remember we used to, we had a few drum cleansing ceremonies to purify your place, and I thought people must have thought we were a bit crazy, drumming.
All the smudge, we were going through the whole house and chucking out stuff that wasn't supposed to be there.
The office was outside, down the bottom, so we'd have to come downstairs out,
And then
side
back
on the
in.
footpath, and then back in.
Right on a major city artery, which was good.
And your neighbor must have liked it too.
Oh, I'm sure. But yeah, that was a real gift. You know, every time you've been coming, you know, it helps stimulate a lot of movement in a great way. Really, the best way. It's what it's for.
And I also liked how you shared the other night about finding the grandmother's stone.
Yeah.
How that all happened the first year and how it was like such an excitement to discover her and all that.
Oh yeah. You know, well, if you want, do you want me to share that story a little bit?
Would you mind
Oh,
sharing?
not at all.
You know, people that watch this, you know, some of them will know all about the grandmother stone. Will be excited about hearing your story.
Yeah, well, yeah, because all the fun other families have theirs.
Yeah,
Grandmother
yeah,
stone
they do.
and their story. Before these guys were coming the first time to Knoxville, Tennessee, I live on this farm here where we're sitting right now. We're on the farm, inside a cottage that's actually lovely, and that belongs to the family here. And you were on your way in, and as you were coming, I guess you asked to find a grandmother's stone. And I get to live on this beautiful land that was a place for the Yuchi, and those are the native people here for a really long time.
And you said the Yuchi were here before the Cherokee.
Yeah, they came. Actually, there was an archaeologist here for 40 years with his son. There's a book written.
40 years. Oh.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
And Cindy fed them a lot of biscuits.
That's another story.
Yes.
The biscuit story.
A fresh one.
Yes, fresh biscuits with eggs, chickens. But yeah, the Yuchi were here well before the Cherokee. The archaeologists discovered, first of all, there were a lot of artifacts here. And there's a burial mound right on the edge of the property. It's a 600-acre farm. And this burial mound was also a temple mound, which was a special feature of the Yuchi. In addition, there's a big fish trap in the river that's 9,000 years old. And the burial mound, temple mound, is 13,000 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. I can't even imagine what that means.
No, you can't. And it's, you know, when you all asked for the grandmother stone, you know, that was a real opportunity to connect with the land and see what she has to offer, you know. And it was right here at these river bottoms. And they were getting ready to prepare. You know, it was spring, and you were coming in May. So they were tilling the soil and preparing for planting. And it's right when you all asked for the grandmother, and she popped up out of the land. And her sister, she had a younger sister. And and she's nice, so she's beautiful. This beautiful grandmother stone. She's about this big. She's very warm and anchoring to the earth and ancient. You know, she's got all this in her.
She is beautiful.
And and I had asked one of the daughters to the family here if she'd be on the lookout for the grandmother. And she, of course,
I've heard this story before.
she
Well,
was
you're
out
missing
there.
out on the ladies' nights every time.
Yeah, that's when we
That's
talk
why
about her.
I'm intrigued.
Oh, well, I asked, her name's Jennifer. I said, Jennifer, when you're out there while they're plowing, would you look for the grandmother? Maybe she'll show up the grandmother's stone. And she goes, okay.
Wow.
And you know, there were heaps of artifacts that were on this property, carried away, actually, unfortunately, and people still bring them back, saying that there's been a spell put on them. They think, and they feel like they need to bring them back.
Oh, it's so good that they make them bring it back, eh?
Yeah, and Frank, the man of the place, the elder, he's got lots of big mortars and pestles and heaps of arrowheads. They said it was one of the most heavily populated sites, and in the south, actually southeast, for Native people, right there where we are.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah,
I think that's why it's such a powerful place, because it still feels it has all that, you know. Mana, it's like it has a lot of energy in it. Eh?
yeah, and you can feel it. And so when she showed up, you know, she popped out of the soil. She's big, you know, to be in the fields.
Yeah, like to plow around it all the time.
Yeah, so for her to come up like that, you know, it looks like one of the stones that's in the fish trap out in the river. The fish trap is a 9,000-year-old trap that's still being used for fishing by the fishermen. And it's huge, and you can see it from the airplane, in the air from the airplanes.
Oh.
And it makes a point in the river.
Yeah, no, we saw that last year and the year before.
Yeah.
You took us down there. The first year we came out
That
here.
was
Remember we
Yeah.
we walked all around the fields down the river?
Yeah, I remember that. And the karakia and all that. But she looks like one of those stones from the fish trap. It's almost as if she just
Jumped out of the water.
she really looks like those stones, and to be out, and she just popped out, and then Jennifer said, Sara, I think I may have found, you know, she may have shown up, will you come look?
No.
And so she was part of that, and I came and I looked, I was like, oh, you know, and I held her, I was like, oh, and then her sister, who's a little smaller and younger, she felt younger.
You mean the sister stone?
The sister stone, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, the sister stone. And she just felt beautiful, and it's like, okay, yeah. And she was as if she was just, you know, communicating immediately, you know, connecting and ready to be part of this with us, you know. It's beautiful.
And she's still with us.
Yeah, and then you painted her beautifully. You know, you gave her, like we talked about, the nice eyeliner.
Yeah.
And traditional Maori moko on her, and that's what it looked like. And blessed
And
her.
it peeled all off.
Yeah. Yes, she's been very busy. Her makeup came off.
But actually, people might not know who you are, Sara. Would you introduce yourself a little bit of what you do and how come you could invite us actually here?
Oh.
You know, so
To the property or to
no,
just in
like who
here?
you know, what you do for work and.
Oh, thank you. Well, actually, I do healing work that's heavily influenced by Maori.
Oh, in
Isn't that
Knoxville.
something? In Knoxville, isn't that interesting? Yeah, I know. Years ago, before you guys came, around 2001, 2002, it was right around there. Papa Joe, the elder, the Matua, came with Ata, and it was when he was alive. And it was actually, I had just moved back here not long before that. I didn't think I would necessarily be settling back here, but then I just felt called by my grandmother, her line, and then also my grandfather, more recent than her, goes way back for generations on this land, hundreds and hundreds of years.
Wow.
I too have some native blood, and it's likely Yuchi. And because those of us that were told we were Cherokee when we were young, if we live on this side of the mountains, they were salt traders, and so this is the side of the mountains on the western side of what's called the Smoky Mountains, is where the Yuchi came through as salt traders. And that's how I got back here, is I just felt really called back to this land. A lot of people actually asked why I didn't move to a place called Asheville, North Carolina, which is on the other side. But it's a lot like Sedona, so they thought that would be more natural for me to be there. And I was like, no. And I came right to this farm.
Wow.
And Cindy said, you know, Sarah, Rachel and I have been talking, and we just thought maybe you might want to move here. And I thought, you know, and I was living out of my van.
Oh, not a camper van, just a van.
Well, actually, it has a top. But yeah, I was just kind of living.
How many years ago was that?
It was year 2000, right in 1999, 2000, 1998, 1999. Yeah.
That's a while ago.
Yeah, and that was right after I'd been in Guatemala for some time.
And then when did you start your healing art center?
Around the time Papa Joe, I had just started.
Oh, you just started.
Not long before that.
And you invited them.
Yeah.
Just tune up.
I knew a guy who's from Nashville. He lived over here, and he knew them. His mother knew them. And he said, and I really thank him for this, he said, you know, Sarah, have you heard of a man named Papa Joe? And he'd come to the center, and he had been working with me. And I said, well, you know, when I went to massage school just to have that license. Actually, you have to have that in the United States to touch people.
Yeah, we were talking about that today.
Yeah, and when I lived in Guatemala with the Mayan people, I was working with a shaman. He was training me, although I thought I was being a student in another way for a while. So to answer your question,
Papa Joe, you invited him.
Yeah, well, this young man said his mother knew these Maori, and he knew Papa Joe.
Wow.
And they had been in Nashville for a visit. And it was right when they were first coming, or they had been coming along to the United States. It was mostly California. And he said that he had told them about my center. And he said, I think they should come to Gypsy Hands.
Wow.
And I felt Papa's energy, because he said, have you heard of Papa Joe? And I could immediately just, and I said, no, but I haven't heard of him, but I think I feel him. And he said,
I think I never even seen a photo of him.
Oh, Manu looked a lot like him.
Oh, that's awesome.
A lot like him. In fact, when Manu first walked in, it was like seeing a ghost.
Oh,
wow.
And Ata said, he looks like him, doesn't he, Sara? And I was like, whoa, yeah.
So Manu being another healer.
Yeah, Manu, another healer. So yeah, he said he had suggested that they come, and I said, oh, but I'm just starting this center, and I don't know, don't they want to go to Asheville? And I said, go ask them, they do better in Asheville, it's much more ready for what they're doing. And he said, okay, I'll go tell them. He said he went and said that to them, and they came back to him and said, no, no, we're coming to Knoxville.
That's so funny.
And they showed up. And and then right away, immediately, within minutes of knowing them, they threw me in the deep end with them.
Wow.
And then Papa asked me to work on him
Mm.
immediately. Well, Atta first,
Uh-huh.
but they threw me in the deep end with them, with clients first. Then Atta said, well, actually first was Terrence, her son, walked on me, and he was a very thin teenager. It was, you know, he came in, but he had those feet, and you know, and they watched how I responded. And I came in the room and just crouched, you know, and Papa and Atta just looked at each other and then looked back, and just tried to make myself small. and so it was Terrence, and then jumping in with them, and then Atta, and then Papa. And then Papa saw me again the next day, and again he kept coming, and and then he and I started getting to know each other, and we would have one-on-one time, and he invited me to come live with him in New Zealand.
And you never did?
I didn't, because I was starting this business, and it was always one of those. I don't like the word regret, but
If there wasn't a...
if there was a regret, what I call it would have been that to not go, because I made the choice to keep my business, get it going,
Well, it's paying off now.
Yeah, it is
Hit
now.
your business. It's
Thank you.
incredible.
But
So
that's how you all got here. If I hadn't had it, you know.
So you're doing hands-on healing?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I do hands-on healing, and I also talk with people. I have a background in psychology, but it's really not that. You know, it's just more of a sharing and creating space. It's an intuitive process, much like the way you all work.
I've seen how you work with your clients or your people that we've met.
Yeah.
They always talk
I
highly
love,
about
they talk highly about you, and they all come along because they know you. Yeah, it's true.
Well, you know, it was really when I first felt really at home with the work is when I met, you know, your family, met those guys. It was just when I finally went, oh, this makes sense, because I wasn't understanding how it was all going to come together.
How did you mean?
Well, I spent time in Guatemala. I was around when I was a little girl, around a granny healer, native lady in Mexico, and been around that a lot in my life. But it was when I met the Maori. It felt like that just felt like home.
Wow.
And I went to massage school to get this license, but I didn't feel like I was going to be a massage therapist. And then I went and trained as a midwife, and then I did this, and I didn't understand how it was going to all come together.
That's happening to many people, I think.
Yeah.
Just looking for where they want to go. That's what I feel like. I was talking to somebody else, and it was just like, you know, there's all these things that you learn in your life, and then they come to a point where it all melts together.
Yeah.
And you don't know how that can fit with this, and
how
suddenly it does merge together.
Well, kind of like what you all do.
Yeah.
You know, you all bring all these elements in, and it comes.
Well, I remember when we were working in your studio, your art centre in town, and for me, knowing Haka is, you know, nature energy, and we're in that room and the air conditioning and the streets, you know, either side of the building.
I remember we tried to open the windows at times.
Try to open the window,
It's too
and
loud.
then pass, you want to meditate or do those energy exercises that open your being, and you feel a lot more, and then you're feeling more the fire engine coming past. But then you would bring us out here to do a ceremony in the night.
Oh, did we just come here for a ceremony?
Yeah, she would bring us. This is how we got
yes.
to meet. Come out here.
That's
And
true.
we just like
Oh, we went to your house.
Yeah.
That's
Went to
how we
the
did the first
we
one.
did the first fire ceremony.
At
That's
your
right.
house.
And the first time I saw those flying.
The
fireflies.
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 Yeah, they were so magic.
I remember
Beautiful.
that. I remember your faces when you saw the fireflies. You were
that's
like,
right. But then, coming out here, and then other people were coming, and we just had such a simple ceremony, but it was very powerful.
It was
beautiful.
It was
"Oh,
beautiful.
it's beautiful."
A lot of people were so
Oh, they
touched
loved
and
it.
just loved it. So you brought us out here every time we came back. We still came back.
Which
People
was
still
amazing.
squashed in the room with us.
Well, we moved in the second seminar. We moved it to the red room, I think, to the bigger room.
To the bigger room.
Yeah, we moved to the bigger room. We
But
graduated.
we held it out, and then, we started planting the seed. Why don't we try to...
You were actually saying that you were missing the trees.
I was.
Yeah, there was.
Because we like to, work... If we work inside, we like to go outside and then, have an exchange
Yeah.
with...
Even though we sometimes a lot inside, when we have a seminar, we might be in somewhere at the seminar place in nature, but we will still work a lot inside. But then, when we have gathered the energy, we will bring it outside. But we have no other place in the world where we do haka in a tent by the river.
Oh.
That's absolutely different. That's why probably this lady from Germany came all the way over. That's sitting at our table so quietly. Would you like to introduce yourself, Johanna? Come over. Come around. We all brushed our hair before we came
Yeah.
here.
Yes.
And Taimana said for us to be
this is
normal or natural.
No, I stand,
so we're
it's
doing
fine.
our best.
It's fine,
to be
it's fine, I'm
natural.
standing.
You can sit on the
Sit
deck
here.
there.
Oh,
like
yeah.
this.
Does somebody want to sit on again?
Yeah. Just like family. Doesn't she look like my sister?
Close.
So where did you come from?
Where did I come from? Germany.
What
Munich.
type? Munich.
Yes. And I start to feel like I'm stalking them because I've been with them in Munich last year. Then I started the year in New Zealand with them, and now I'm here in Knoxville. So I'm following them around the globe.
But I mean, it's not only our fault that you're in Knoxville, I think.
No, that's true. I also met this beautiful lady in New Zealand, so it was a combination of the two.
Because we were lucky to have Sara on our tour.
Yes, which was very lucky.
Oh, I was so But lovely. So you came all the way here.
Yes.
What are you doing here?
Well, these last days, I would say I've trained my muscles. In many ways. No. Also, I did. Yes, what did we do? We did. The seminar was right by the river in a beautiful place, and we did so many things. So we from drumming, singing, crying, dancing, swimming,
We laughed too.
laughing.
We laughed.
Yeah, we had all the emotions.
All inclusive.
All inclusive, and yes, and of course we did the haka, and I felt it's the perfect place. I've never been in such a beautiful place to do a seminar. Really, in general, no seminar at all, and especially this one, because it is a lot about, for me at least, if I understand it well, of reconnecting with nature, with Father Heaven, Mother Earth, and this you can not do in a better place than here. There's a river going by, it's a huge field, pure nature, nobody passing by, it was just us. We slept outside in the marae, part of us. I did.
Some people did, yes.
Yeah, it was a beautiful experience.
And you took some healing sessions with Sara.
Yes, this I did before.
Yes.
Yeah, so I had a combination of working, having some treatments with Sara, And some
being
training.
and some training.
That's exciting.
Yes. And yes, and having this beautiful experience with you.
We're very happy that you're here.
Yeah, we really enjoyed you being part of the Haka seminar because it kind of opens other people up to the bigger picture. Because, you know, Waimania and myself are travelling all over the world telling everybody we have a Haka family. You know, we've just come from Canada and now we're here and we're going to go over to France and the Haka family there's waiting. And then you came here from Munich and sharing a similar feeling. Like I know for you coming home to Aotearoa and meeting all the other ones who came on that tour, it gives you this
Oh my gosh.
feeling and
Of togetherness,
of this feeling and you know and having now kind of like I think there's a forming of a core group. The ones who've been through the very first one, like
Wolf and Butterfly. They all have beautiful names here. They're either called Steve and Karen, or they called all these beautiful animal names.
like turtle.
Turtle, Butterfly, Wolf. Today we named somebody Dragonfly.
But it's like Waimani and I were sharing that this core group is kind of setting this field or this tone, and it's also helping to create a safe space. So when new people come, you know, the normal group dynamic is fight for your space or compete for your space or I need a lot of tension.
Well, it depends, what it feels like originally.
It can be a lot, but if there's a feeling already that's just set and it has its place, people will just drop into it. And we had a beautiful time.
Oh, it was such a beautiful seminar. It was just lovely. All the people that came were just beautiful people. I mean, everybody's beautiful, but when this when it's just about the work and everybody's busy with himself rather than with other people and with, you know, trying to find their place or get more attention than somebody else. I find that beautiful, and I felt this group was like so, really so concerned. Each one was concerned about his own problems to solve it and to find a peaceful way of doing
They
that.
were like, they were like already engaged. They want to engage, and they knew why they came to do this haka,
That's a reason.
Which is transformation. So, you know, they just came because they knew why they wanted to be there, and so they engaged, and we loved it too.
And some came out, like, I mean, this person that came from New York, you know?
Yeah.
Really, really was so happy to be finally out in the nature, in this beautiful place, and just wanted to be with people that are in the same, what do you call it, spirit, or same kind of vision of life, and appreciated it so much. It felt really like the people that came together were all looking for this togetherness.
Yes.
For me, that was touching to see that, and to have, you know, you, Wolf and Butterfly, you know, the three of you. And then the other ones, like some, I mean, you know, some have been there for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Even they didn't come to the first one, they still come for a long time.
Oh, yes.
I mean, you know, it's lovely to meet new
Megan
people.
and
Yeah. New people are beautiful. And still like to have people come back again. It's really heartwarming, you know, that they don't get bored with us. So.
No.
You know, you could think, I have done a haka seminar. I've done it. Why do I go back? But, you know, obviously they find something additional every time they come.
Yes. Yes. Because you have so much to share And I mean, how many seminars would it take to, you know, share all of it? And and too, what it's doing for them, every little, you know, and they'll say, well, I know I've heard that before, but this time I really got it. And, you know, and it's bringing them to themselves, you know, the work that you do is bringing them to who they are, and a connection with other people that support that, you know, and the family aspect that you all always, you know, encourage, the fun now, you know. It's a really big deal for everybody.
It is, because people are missing to be together and don't know. And that was with Butterfly, we were talking about community, you know, how do you create community? And it came down to something very simple, washing dishes together. You know, that's how you create community, or cooking together, cleaning toilets together.
Singing together.
Oh yeah, singing together, dancing together. But you know, it's like about doing simple things also together.
Yes.
If you can wash dishes with somebody, if you can clean toilets with somebody, well then you're pretty close, aren't you? Oh yeah. It needs a closeness to be able to do that with ease.
Yes, and to, well, you know, the non-judgment that comes, you know,
I'm too good to do dishes,
Yeah.
I'm too good to do toilets and things. I mean, that's why I was mentioning that more than the Haka, you know, because naturally you can do Haka because that's what you come for and pay for, but to also do those normal things.
Yeah, I think for me what's happening out here is we're tapping into our multi-dimension, and because we have the space to allow that to happen, and because the nature's there, the river's moving, the light, the sound, the insects, the heat, and you go into this other state because you have that space, and then you can feel those ancestors around you. And when we start to concentrate and build the energy of the Haka, there's this other unity happening. That's for me. And then you start to have another experience, and it becomes more precious. And for me, every year it's intensifying, and I think the old ones are starting to sense that it's a growing thing. You know, it's, you know, Steve Turtle, he's like the elder, but when he speaks, it's really funny.
Oh,
I find
already his accent.
I find it really funny, but his teachings are real. You know, they're
deep,
because he's done it, and for me, he's inspirational because he's living it. He's living the teachings, and you know, sharing with those different ages and the different cultures coming in, and we're creating this world. You know, like we say, Waimania say, yeah, let's be serious like children. Let's play hard, but with joy. And yeah. Some of those ceremonies are so just simple but true, real, pure, and then you'll just get into a state, and then you just see the mist coming, you know, and you can feel the ancestors just coming.
I love the ceremonies this time. I can't really describe what it was, but it was the building of it as it slowly happened. You know, we went to do that water ritual by the river. Then we started, the woman started the water dance. And then the man, meanwhile, were building the turtle fireplace.
Yeah, and the nest.
And the nest for the goddess. And then we had our time, and it was lovely to hear the man strong outside, you know, because there's no walls, so you can hear everything. So you just kind of next door, but you're still separated by this little thin plastic thing of the tent. And then approaching to the man, and then we had this lovely wedding ceremony. You know, that I loved it, and it was, and even, you know, it was all about them. They still tried to be, you know, respectful towards the ritual and not take too much attention. You know, they could have made it all about themselves, but they didn't, which was really beautiful. And then that night, it was just beautifully how it rounded, and we gave all our offerings, and then in the morning we came back and everybody was whispering. You know, everybody held the silence all over the night, and in the morning we came, and then Paul was still with the fire, you know, was tired as anything, but, you know, looking all night, and they was still going the fire in the morning. It was still hot. And then we did that, we placed the flower, the woman, we placed the flower, and then we did that water ritual, and then gave the flowers. For me, all that, it was just so magical. I mean, you could say it's not the haka, but it still was all the haka.
Well, one woman mentioned a dream she had, and it was,
What was that again?
it's everything is haka.
Oh, yeah,
It's all haka.
yeah.
That should be a T-shirt or something.
It's all haka.
It's all haka.
Do you have any magic moments on the haka seminar we just had?
Well, I would say there were several, but I think, like I already said, I especially enjoyed the water ceremony that we had. I really enjoyed it very much, with this beautiful melody that, that you have brought somehow, and the dance, and yeah, I like that especially.
For a man, for me, watching the woman do this water dance, like Waimani said, how we're building, you know, from the pōwhiri, the welcome ceremony, it's just slowly building with the eating together and the prayer before meals and the singing and the exercises, you know, the energies building up. And then the learning of the haka, and the haka is starting to grow, and then we become closer, and then suddenly, you know, you see this dance appear, you know, and when it comes on the last day with the water ceremony, you know, and the men are just so like, because the night before they had to hold the space, the masculine space of the god, because the goddess is coming, or the Grand Mothers stone is coming.
And the women are going to rock the world of the
Yes.
man.
She's coming, man. You're going to stand strong. You know? And like, then when you see the faces on the men, you know, they're just so like, you know, they're engaging, you can feel it, and they've got a purpose, and a lot of them are, you know, wanting to find their soul purpose. And they just really, you can see
They're beautiful. It's beautiful also for the woman. We get so, you know, we come into a state of admiration. We have to make sure that we don't lose ourselves.
Yes.
It's like, the man, how beautiful.
And that's what I love, when you see that dance happening. But you see the older ones who know how it goes, and then you see the new ones, like, you know, trying to find out how it goes. But you see that's all part of it, because it's like perfect but imperfect, but it's evolving, it's growing. And it shows you that's also the haka. You know, people think they got it, but it's not like how it is. It's a process that continues to grow. So you grow deeper, you grow higher, you grow wider. When you think you have it, there's the next level. And that's also a brain thing. It's the process in the brain. If you think you got it, you die, you know.
Yeah, what for to live on, if you have it all.
Yeah, and that's a trick, to keep on keeping on. And so for me, when you see their dance evolving, moving, growing, it's becoming something with new people in it, and the men are like holding that space and the woman's moving, it's huge. I always see it as huge. I see this big light instrument or this big light flower just moving over the land, but I see it connecting 9,000 years before, where they were doing things like that here. That's for me. I just like, wow, this is,
And it's so simple, eh? There's no stereo or nothing, you know?
No.
All that is that grass pad and some, some stones and then it disappears after.
Yeah.
I find that is
Made
good.
out of your shawls. But that's the playful part of it, like a child. They build little houses and little...
And it's real for them.
it's
They
real.
live in it and they eat the grass soup and it's a real soup.
Yes,
and all
yes.
But that's that magic,
Because their imagination is so strong, it creates
It
actually a
brings it
reality. It's not an outside reality forced on you. It's like an inside reality projected to the outside, and it creates a reality.
Because I'm always astonished when people arrive and they're like, everyone, even us, we just landed here, we're still jet lagged, and everyone's like a bit tired, and then they leave at the end and they're just like...
We work many hours and late nights, and we're still more
Yes.
charged.
Their eyes are
It's
bright,
amazing.
they're just...
No sleep.
You had no sleep.
sleep.
You look pretty good for no sleep.
She was training on the marae.
Yes.
You know about the Yuchi, I don't know if I've mentioned to you guys, but something about them that's special is that they had as many priestesses as priests, if not more priestesses.
Wow.
Yeah, so they were really,
That's beautiful to hear.
yeah. So it was definitely an honor of both.
Oh, it's where you have your leg.
Yeah.
Where did your water dance come from? Do you want to talk about that now? You saved that
I
for
think I'm going to
another
save that for
time.
another time. I think we might be a good time for...
Make sure you share that one. Sometime.
Oh, I will one day. I will. We keep that secret for the moment.
Mystery.
Some secrets we have to keep,
It's like the
otherwise...
spoiler. Isn't it
Yeah.
not like this?
Yeah. And I'm sure
Tune in for the next one.
and I'm sure we're gonna get better at this
This is a good beginning, I think.
YouTube channel stuff.
Well, we hope that time and I can do something with all this, what we created.
And thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we love to share, and I hope this helps whoever's listening out there.
Yeah, remember we do this to just remember each other and connect. Stay connected so we don't miss each other too hard over the time.
Yeah, all the best to wherever you are. Remember, we're with you.
Yeah.
Aroha nui.
Aloha.
Aloha nui.
Haere mai.